Why am I the scapegoat? The very first thing the scapegoat needs to understand is it is not your fault. Scapegoating is a reflection on the person refusing to be held accountable, not the person being blamed. The very existence of a scapegoat in the family signals a problem because a scapegoat is only required in a family when someone chronically refuses to take responsibility for their own actions. The scapegoat also provides a buffer against reality to support the family denial. The scapegoat carries the lion's share of the blame, shame, anger and rejection so narcissistic mother can maintain her patterns of dysfunction while continuing to appear normal. The following are additional facts about the scapegoat. While some claim the scapegoats are sometimes chosen because they are the weaker or more vulnerable ones, others claim the scapegoats are the strongest and emotionally healthiest in the family. Regardless, if you are the scapegoat, you have likely suffered more abuse, rejection and shame than the rest of the family put together. You are strong enough to survive the abuse, so you are certainly strong enough to survive the recovery. The scapegoats are the honest ones, the truth tellers. This truth-telling in the company of a sick parent who is constantly pretending in order to maintain a facade and trying to avoid accountability can make the scapegoat a target of the parent. Dr. M. Scott Peck said of narcissists that while they have no interest in being good, they intensely want to appear good. Their goodness is all a pretense and the scapegoat often sees that. They do not like anyone to mention their behavior or attempt to hold them accountable. However, that same honesty will serve you well during the recovery process and around healthier people. The scapegoats are often the emotionally healthiest ones in the family. They like honesty, not the deception and injustice of the pretend world of a narcissist. Since it is very painful to be the scapegoat is often the one in the family who will go looking for answers and find them. Therefore, scapegoats are more likely to escape, heal and go on to lead healthier lives. There may be other reasons someone is chosen as the scapegoat, but the point is it is the parent's misconduct that requires a scapegoat. You are not bad, your mother has issues. It was never your fault, scapegoat. The very existence of a scapegoat role in a family signals there is someone who is chronically avoiding responsibility for their actions. A scapegoat allows someone or an entire family to project everything that is negative onto the scapegoat in order for them to continue to appear normal. It is a distraction, a red herring. The whole family can then point at the scapegoat as the problem and focus the attention away from the true core issue. This can be reinforced in many overt and covert ways. It may be verbally being told your family wants the best for you, but their actions do not match their words. For example, telling you they support you getting an education, but then actively sabotaging or undermining your attempts to do so. There's a heavy investment in keeping you in your assigned role as the black sheep, the bad scapegoat. So you might think you will become an overachiever to prove to your family and the world you are not bad. However, the dysfunctional family needs a bad scapegoat in order to support the denial and facade. So when you start to excel, it actually makes narcissistic mother uncomfortable because it threatens her assessment of you. She may very well also become jealous of any success you have. So, narcissistic mother may actually reward her scapegoats for floundering, failing or getting in a mess. This can be done in very subtle ways so as to remain deniable and undetected. However, she may also actively undermine any success in every way she is able to. When I graduated from college, in spite of all of the undermining and browbeating efforts, the accomplishment was completely ignored. If I brought it up, they changed the subject. No one in the entire extended family even attended my graduation or celebrated the accomplishment. I was getting out of my scapegoat role by being the first to graduate from college in an extended family of high school dropouts. So while everyone else was enjoying cards, presents and celebrations, I was actually being shunned and punished for graduating. This is only one example of how a toxic family takes virtually anything the scapegoat does and reframes it as negative or spins it into an accusation. Simultaneously, my late narcissistic personality disordered mother decided to take her high school equivalency test. When she passed the test, she threw herself a party inviting the younger siblings but not inviting me. This is an example of why it is futile to think you are going to prove yourself to a toxic family who has assigned you the role of scapegoat. When I was younger, I often said I could find the cure for cancer, and their response would be it was the wrong kind of cancer. Hardly anyone gets that kind of cancer. It really should not even be considered cancer. She thought of that cure years ago, but it was so obvious she thought surely everyone already knew. Everything a scapegoat does is reframed to fit the role. In my experience, the toxic family system will always and forever require scapegoats unless or until the entire family seeks recovery. While this may happen with an alcoholic or drug addict, the psychiatry profession as a whole does not even claim to be able to effectively treat narcissistic personality disorder. Hence, this is just one more reason why I personally support no contact. You selfish scapegoat. This accusation is so often made when the scapegoat draws a boundary or does anything to interfere with the narcissistic mother's needs and wants. This is a profound, often deeply ingrained message to the scapegoat. In my opinion, it is imperative that the scapegoat realize the truth of this brainwashing. It is not selfish to draw healthy boundaries, protect yourself and your children from abuse, or to refuse to be the family whipping post or slave. Narcissistic mothers also chronically project their own negative behavior, character traits and deeds onto the scapegoat. Indeed, that is the very reason a scapegoat role is assigned in a toxic family in the first place. You are not selfish, she is. Recognize the accusation for what it is, projection. Also, notice how the terms are defined according to whose behavior is being considered. Invariably, the rigid family roles redefine terms and have double meanings. A great way to expose the toxic unwritten family rules is to switch the characters of the golden child and the scapegoat. If the golden child was doing this or that, would it be considered selfish? If the narcissistic mother was doing this or that, would it be considered selfish? No, selfishness is redefined for the scapegoat in order to reinforce your continued silence and participation. Narcissistic mother teaches others to abuse the scapegoat. It is not uncommon for the narcissistic mother to teach the other children to also abuse the scapegoat child. This can result in mobbing, where more than one member of the family gangs up on the scapegoat. This abuse does not stop in childhood, but may continue as adult-child abuse. Do not think for a minute a narcissistic mother who scapegoats her own child will not also turn the scapegoat's own children against them. In my experience, just as the narcissistic mother taught the other siblings as children to also mistreat, blame and even abuse the scapegoat, she will teach your children the same thing. What is a scapegoat to do? These are some of the things that have helped me to heal from being my narcissistic mother's scapegoat. Understand it is not your fault. You are not bad, but have been taught a false image of yourself. Begin sorting through the projections that have been cast upon you and explore your true self. Find some positive support with a group or therapist. Stop trying to win the approval of those committed to misunderstanding and invalidating you. Begin setting healthy boundaries with your narcissistic mother. There is often a backlash when you do this, so be prepared. Begin setting healthy boundaries with the narcissistic mother's silent partner and flying monkeys. Do not expect to receive an apology or validation from narcissistic mother or anyone else who used you as a scapegoat. Accept that you may very well never have a healthy relationship with those who have used you as a scapegoat. Refuse to be the narcissist's slave or the family slave.